What's good, my people? What's good? How y'all doing? Just on here for a little bit. Election was last night. As you all know, Donald Trump is now president of the United States. This man won. Lo, what's good? Send me that link for them juices, man, so I can send you your juices, man. Send me that link, brother. Yeah, man. Trump got that. Trump got that one, B. I had a feeling he was going to win, yo. When I saw them electoral votes and I saw that gap, I was like, nah, B. This dude going to win. This dude's going to win. For real. Shout out to the Republicans, man. Shout out to the Republicans, man. Y'all stood tall. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see the changes that Trump, makes. I'm looking forward to seeing if he takes the taxes off of overtime. Trump ain't win, Kamala just lost. It's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Because I honestly feel that if anybody I could have ran against Trump and probably won. You understand what I'm saying? You could have won. Anybody could have won. You know what I mean? But it's easier said than done because there was a number of people who ran against Trump. I mean, who was like in the independent party. I think it was Jill Stein, RFK, not RFK, I'm sorry. One of the Kennedys. Now you think Cornel West ran. So, I have to figure out how that system works where these people, I didn't even see them on the ballot. You know what I mean? All I saw was Trump and Harris. But they said you had to write those other people in. So, you're right. Trump ain't win. Kamala just lost. I feel you. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Trump going to do. They say he's going hard with the immigrant situation. You know what I mean? But it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I had a feeling when I saw those electoral votes, I was like, nah, this nigga going to win, B. He going to win. But it's the different things that Kamala was going for, man. Some of her policies wasn't good, and I can honestly say the reason why I went for Kamala was because, we've been conditioned, black people, we've been conditioned to go with with Kamala. But times are changing, and the Democratic Party is going to have to make some real adjustments the next go round if they want to see, the black people going, voting for the Democratic Party. Stocks are up. You know what I mean? If you went to the stocks or whatever, stocks is up, Tesla's up, shoot. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what our brother Trump is going to do. Some saying he going to free Diddy. If he frees Diddy, that'd be crazy, yo. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. All you gotta do is drop that bag. Diddy trying to get free. Lil Boosie, he said he's gonna drop a bag. So, we will see what this man gonna do. For real. If you wanna call in, the number's 917-376-1068. 917-376-1068. I'm going to be on here for a little bit. And this is gonna be a conversation for the week, man. You know, people are gonna this is gonna be a conversation for the week. Kim, it was a joke. It was a big fucking. It was a big joke. It was a big joke. I was embarrassed as a Democrat. You know, the last couple of weeks before the election, I was in between. I was an undecided voter. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't know who I wanted to vote for. I was like, yo, because I felt embarrassed. I was like, why does she have these girls? I was like, she might as well have freaking bottle sessions at the freaking election, bro. I mean, at the freaking campaign party. You got these girls twerking. You got Glorilla up there twerking. And then you got Beyonce. She showed up. People thought she was performing. She went up there, said a couple words. Like, why was she even there, bro? Kelly Rowland, she rolled up. She had this big ass suit on. Like, what the freak? What type of circus? It's like she tried to pull a bag of tricks out her hat, bro, at the last minute. It was crazy. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what type of games this woman was playing. And I was embarrassed. So many different things was standing for, and it was against the Christian religion. That's what I didn't understand. And I'm a Christian. You know, the LGBTQ thing. You know, it's against the Christian religion. You know, freaking, uh, what else was it? And to even get into religion, right? Because we're not going to really get into it like that. But do y'all ever think a woman will ever be president of the United States? Yeah, just call in, bro. Let me give y'all a number to call in real quick, all right? Because I'm just in case and y'all want your voice to be heard, you know. Uh the number's 917-376-1068. All right. I'm gonna post it right now in the chat. All right. So and I'll pin it to there. Let me read this comment. I read a comment that my brother just posted real quick. Okay, what'd you say? Uh, I would have had Stevie Wonder, safe choice. Yeah, I'll have more distinction, black and Latino and whites around. Yeah, bro. Like she pulled that freaking that what's that called? What do you want to call it? The celebrity card. Nobody wanted to see all of them, bro. Nobody wanted to see them. You understand what I'm saying? Like nobody wanted to see freaking uh who's this girl name? What's the girl that performed? Megan Thee Stallion. Nobody wanted to see that chick. Nobody wanted to see Glorilla. Nobody wanted to see that. Eminem. Come on, come. On. We got to do better, man. And I love Eminem, but I'm surprised Eminem pulled up. I'm like, bro, come on, B, what we doing? I know your album. I know you just had an album that just dropped a little while ago, but that wasn't for you, bro. That wasn't for you. That was for you. She was trying to win homecoming. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yo, bruh. Howard University. Like, why was Howard University even in the picture? Respectfully, shout out to all Howard University alumni, all that good stuff. But there was what? Oh man, like keep your college out of this, man. Like focus on your policies, focus on what you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? She was trying to win a homecoming queen and not really focusing on her. Yeah. She was out there at the Howard reunion uh the other day. Turn it up. Listen, they was not going. Yes, she could have went after. She could have went to Howard University after this joint was over. Had a wonderful time with all the her alumni members and the students and blah blah. Like she was just doing too much, bruh. She was just doing too much. What? I'm telling you, this. I'm surprised she wasn't freaking hosting parties, going to clubs, and all sorts of kind of shit. Like, come on, man. I can't, bro. I can't, man. You know what I'm saying? The freaking BET Hip Hop Awards. You know, they had she had a lot of she was doing a lot of campaigning during that, you know, with the commercials and all of that, you know, so they tried their best with that. But that was even it that was just drawn out. It was just too much. It was just too much. The campaign was not strategic. They were not strategic, and I get it. It was a she had a short amount of time, man. She only had like 100 days. You know what I mean? And I get it. Listen, call in. You know, if you want your, you know, if you want to voice your opinion on, you know, on how you feel about this election. If you think that she's going to run again, do you think she's going to run another 4 years? Do you think that there will ever be a female or woman president? You know, um, you know, I I voted for her because you know the Democratic Party is the party that I've been a part of or I've just been supporting because that's what we're conditioned to do. You know, um, I know a lot of people say bad things about Trump, things that he have said, you know, he said and you know done or whatever the case is. But some of the beliefs that the Democratic Party has, you know, might not be the best, you know, for you know our country. And I think that's why, you know, we got these results. States that we thought he would have won, that he would have lost, and excuse me, he won. He said those horrific things about uh, uh, Puerto Rico and uh, you know these other people or whatever, you know. But he won in Pennsylvania, you know. Um, he won in North Carolina. He won in South Carolina. He won in Georgia. Like all these different states. This should be a lesson to the next black woman that runs. She showed the next sister what not to do. Yeah, yeah, definitely showed her what not to do. It's not all about um it's it's not all about trying to get the rappers and the hood celebrities. Ain't all about that, man. Ain't all about that. You know, I, I really feel like the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing is what really kind of knocked out the box. You know, wow, it would have been really good to see her win. It really would have been good to see her win. Um, Moreover, you know, God has other plans. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, you saw people crying. I heard her speech a little earlier, you know, but you know, great speech, you know, but you know, moreover, you know, God has other plans, you know, and you know, regardless of what happened, regardless of who wins, you know, God is gonna, you know, take care of us. He's gonna make sure that we're rich in love, and that we'll be rich in finances. Okay, real talk. Um, that's why I always say, leave the rappers alone. Yes, this ain't '90s or yeah, man. Yo, you hit it right in the nose, bro. Like, Caddy, what's good? You know, we got to get out of this stigma of, oh man. we have to get out of this stigma of, oh, if I want to win, I gotta have it gotta be a hip hop show because you black. No, bro. Like I felt like she was just trying to prove that she was black, like subliminally. You know what I mean? Like it was subliminally. Like I feel like she was trying to prove that she was black and that she was connected to the urban market and trying to eat the black vote. She was. This is what it was. She was focused too much on the black vote. That's what it was. Nail in the coffin. Nail in the coffin. You understand what I'm saying? When Barack was running for president, you know what I mean? So what was it? What was it, my big brother? Call in. You can call in. The number's right there. This platform. Yes, some people feel she was focused too much on the black vote, but this is what this platform is for. Not just for you to be educated, but for me to be educated. The number's right there. You can call in or you can comment right there in the on the live. Okay, from my point of view, I feel it looks to me like she focused too much on the black vote. Okay, so what didn't she do? What didn't she do? Because I felt like she didn't do a lot also. Because I, for some reason, I was like, give me more, give me more. You know, what didn't she do? Because she did not win in the states. I thought she was gonna win it. Like these quote unquote black states, I thought she was gonna win it. I thought North Carolina was a black state. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. Lonnie, what do you think she didn't do? Low Hamptons. That's why I said she should have went with other blacks, the Latino and whites with soul. That's why I said. What do you mean with other blacks? Oh, you mean like Anita Bakers and you mean like, oh, why did she go with Megan Thee Stallion and um that crew? I understand what you're saying. She okay, the Latino and whites were sold. Yeah, she didn't. I, listen, I saw a couple people up there, man. I mean, did Jennifer Lopez go up there? Okay, I know you was gonna say that border control. Yeah, yeah. She wasn't addressing the immigration issue enough. Yes, the border, yes, was a key issue, and they looked at her as the reason why it's out of control. And then, yes, 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 yes. That is definitely. Um, I had put a post up earlier on Instagram um, about the post was, "Do you think that there'll ever be a woman president?" All right, and a brother he felt like um, yeah, yeah. Our brother felt that wasn't the case, and then another brother said, what was even her policies?" And I definitely did tell him that it was definitely an immigration situation. Like she didn't address that enough. Even I think during the it's ratchet blacks and other blacks. Yeah, yeah, man. Hmm. It was a big issue. Big issue. Do you think that her support to the LGBTQ was, and did that turn away a lot of voters? Like with her, with the whole transgender and the them they that whole spiel. Like, do you think that turned away a lot of voters? Do you think that turned away a lot of Christian voters? People who don't believe in um homosexuality? You know, the gay, the gay marriages and that whole spiel. Yeah, it turned a lot of people away. It turned away a lot of Christians. That's why you have some of the that's why you have some of the Christian the pastors, some of the Christian pastors down south. They rocking with Trump. Yeah, yeah. Hold up. Okay, I wanna. Nah, man. No, chill the celebrity effect because they both had celebrities. Couples have LGBTQ. Nah, bro. Um, I, I hear where you coming from. I hear where you coming from. We just didn't need Megan Thee Stallion up there. I think that was the biggest turnoff. I think respectfully, we didn't need that up there. You know what I'm saying? And then what she had on too was crazy. It was crazy. We didn't need that. We didn't need that. You know, I didn't pay attention. I didn't watch the Republican Party convention, so I didn't know. I don't know what. I know Amber Rose spoke. I don't know who performed. You know, so I don't know. How they was giving it up. But um, let me see. Yeah, we got to do better, man. We got to do better. So yeah, it's definitely. So if you look at my post I had earlier, twerking me. This is what this is what I'm trying to tell Elder Lane. Yes, thank you. That lowered the value of the campaign trail. When people saw that woman on there twerking, talking about whatever song she sings, that I was like, this can't be serious, bro. Can't be serious. I'm sorry, man. And I still voted for her. I still voted for her. You know, I still voted for her. Right? I'm sure they were saying they didn't need that. Oh, that comedian. Okay, so the comedian who joked about the Puerto Ricans, there was it the Puerto Rico, the trash in the middle of the ocean or whatever. That he was way left with that, bro. He was what he that dude did not. That was the wrong platform for that. Now I did what people didn't know was that was that guy's style of performing. He made jokes on different races and things of that nature. Um, but I think that was a wrong platform for that. Moreover, I thought that would have worked against them. That way, um, he wouldn't have won Pennsylvania. But bro, that bad publicity turned into good publicity. So leveled out. None had a huge effect. Yeah, it's easy to say that, but it's like I felt. This is how I felt. I felt like being that Trump was already president, and he already had that position, that he did not have to work as hard as Kamala to get the position. You see what I'm saying? He has his loyal supporters, his ride or die supporters. You know what I mean? Like they not turning against him. So I think his strategy was to how can I convince some of Kamala's supporters that I am the one for the job? Like let me let her do what she does. How can I convince some of her supporters that I am the man for the job? And he did that. He convinced a lot. It shows in the polls, or not. He convinced a lot of Democrats. There was a guy that they interviewed this white dude the other day, and the lady asked him. She said, "Who did you vote for?" He said Trump. She said, "Why did you vote for Trump?" He was like, "Because he said that what do you say? he's gonna put no taxes on overtime, right? So she said, "Who did you vote for last time?" He said, "I've been voted in 2, 3 terms." Then she said, "Well, who did you vote for?" He said, "Obama." So this man went from voting for Obama to voting for Trump. So this is what I'm trying to say. Like Trump has the listen, man. States that we thought he would have won in, he lost and he won it. We thought he was going to lose in Pennsylvania because of the joke he made, the jokes that the comedian made. But nah, that wasn't the case. The man still won. Yes, we need no taxes on that OT. Yes, if we get that, bro, we getting Trump in there for a third term, baby. No taxes on OT. She listen. Ben was not gonna say Bin Laden. What's his name? Biden. He promised us loan forgiveness. With a college loan forgiveness. We ain't get it. We ain't get it. Some of y'all probably got it. I don't know if you got it or not. I know I ain't get it. But it's all good though. We knew that. We knew what Trump was. We need to come out to prove who she. Yeah, I don't think she did a good job proving who she was. I think that is the biggest. That's the big picture. When it comes to this election. You know, um, she didn't. She. I mean, granted, like I said before, she only had like 100 something days. Was she? Here's my thing. Okay, so we know that she wasn't going to run. Her plan wasn't to run. Her plan was to be vice president again of, I keep about to say that and again, of Joe Biden. So yeah, she was this was something she put together overnight. This whole campaign was put together overnight. Policies, maybe overnight. A lot of them wasn't thought out. Okay. And I get it. I get it, sis. I get it. You know, uh, where we at with this? Every problem she had a solution for, they asked her, well, why didn't you do it over 4 years? Yeah, over 4 years, yeah. At no point in history was a VP ever been relevant. Her policies can't override. Yeah, man, we got a lot of that. We got a lot of people holding her accountable for being president or being vice president for 4 years and not making any changes in the economy or making changes in general. Like she has no power. So as a vice president, you have no power. You have like, or you just like a sitting broad. You just filling a seat. Like, how does that work? How does that work? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody fill me in. Like, when you're vice president, is your job just to follow the shadow of the president? Like, nothing you say can pass? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. And that's you, Elder. But she had to prove herself to get the vote. And she didn't. Yeah, she definitely had to prove herself. She definitely had to prove herself, man. Um, I don't know, man. She was behind the eight ball. He was behind the eight ball and was handicapped because she attached to the failed Biden. Yeah. So okay, you cannot prove yourself during the campaign. It is your word. Either they trust you or not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So being attached to that Biden campaign probably hurt her the most too. I must say. Um, yeah, Biden. That probably hurt him the most. And it's sad because she probably was coming to the table with some policies that would help, and he probably was shooting them joints down. You understand what I'm saying? Um, and yes, You cannot prove yourself during a campaign. You know, you can convince people to vote for you, you know, but it's nothing you can do, I guess, at that moment, if that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If she was fresh on the scene, bro, I think she probably would have won. And because she's black, too. I'm not gonna hold you. And because she's black. I think as she I think that being that she was under the Biden administration and Biden was just napping throughout the whole administration, you know, I was literally complaining, bro. Like throughout the whole past 4 years, like, yo, where are they? Like where like you never like you would just see them pop up every now and then, or you'll see her pop up. Like I thought having her as a black vice president and as a woman, I thought like she would have like took initiative to like just show up different places, like show up to churches, you know what I'm saying? Like show up to schools, like do what Michelle Obama was doing as the first lady. Like as the first lady, Michelle Obama, she was on the grind, bro. She was everywhere. She was everywhere, man. She was in schools with all the nutrition facts and all the kind of stuff. Like, I thought Kamala was gonna take that pass, that V. Yo, if you VP, you can do something, bro. I'm not jacking. Oh, you know, she was vice president. She didn't have, you know, they don't have the power to do nothing. No, you have a voice. You have a voice, and I don't think she used her voice loud enough as a vice president. That's all I'm saying. We heard her louder in the campaign than we did in the freaking. Come on, don't get me started, B. We heard her. We heard her louder in the campaign than we did her as a vice president. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Monty.
What's up, sis? I'm
Hmm.
I'm not jacking that she oh being that she was a vice president, she had no voice or she couldn't do anything as a vice president. Like she couldn't. It's like you don't have to. Okay, I get it, sis. You maybe you're not able to change any policies. You're not able to do this, not. But you can use that platform, right, as VP, and you can go somewhere because at the end of the day, you know you want to be president.
Hmm.
You know you might want to be president. So the campaign doesn't start when you're running for president during that campaign. The campaign starts when those eyes are on you, when you get that first job, when you get that first situation where people are looking at you to say, hey, listen, this is a part of your resume that people are going to be looking if you ever decide to become president. What did you do as a VP?
Yep. The job she did have, she failed at, which was the border. Wasn't she wasn't she supposed to overlook and oversee the border crisis? And they said in the beginning she was being heavily criticized because she wasn't going down there enough. And everybody was like, okay, well, what's going on? Like they were showing like people were coming in by the herds, like just all throughout the days, nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. And she was getting criticized for that. What's going on, VP? This is your shit. Like, this is your sector. What's going on? And
Mhm.
I don't really recall her resolving it. Now, as far as her, people are saying that she didn't have as much power being
Yeah.
the VP, but I feel like that's the excuse because she ran for president back in presidency during what 2020 for the
Mhm.
2021, right?
Okay,
And
I'm
she
gonna
didn't
fact
win,
check you that.
so Biden picked her for his VP. She
Mm-hmm.
lost against Biden, so he picked her as the VP. It it's not uncommon knowledge that they did so under the guise that he's, older. He doesn't have much more fight into him, in him, and
Mm-hmm.
this would be her replacement. Naturally, she would be the replacement. Now, if she took the job under the guise that she may have to step up, then
Mm-hmm.
you would think that the cabinet was doing everything they needed to do to prepare her to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that ended up happening almost pretty much when it came to this current presidential race.
Okay.
He couldn't do it, so she was pushed up, right? She wasn't voted in.
Mm-hmm.
They just basically said, here, look, she's on the ticket, XYZ, however that works.
Yeah.
So she had these 4 years to prove how she was going to be a president. So even though she only had a short time to
Mm-hmm.
campaign, she had the last 4 years to show us why she was great for the job.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to ask ourselves, what has she or hasn't she done
Mm-hmm.
to where she's met those standards that we needed her to meet? It's not about her being a female, and her being inadequate for the job because she was emotional. It wasn't about that because they obviously felt like she could do the job as the vice president. And the vice president is the next one in line. So obviously, people thought that she had the capability. However, she did not meet those expectations the past 4 years. We got to get out of our feelings and stop trying to point at people saying, well, y'all didn't want her in because y'all, didn't want a woman to be president. And it had nothing to do with that. Homegirl
I
didn't do
feel
what
you.
she was supposed to do.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Um, that's just bottom. Okay, I want to get to some of these comments. Because that right there is a valid point right there. So she ran for president in 2020.
Yeah, I believe so. The last race, which is how Biden got
Yeah.
in. Biden
So
got in
so
and
Biden
she
knocked
raced
her out.
against him.
Biden knocked her out. And okay, we're gonna let Elder Lane in 1 second. Biden knocked her out.
Hmm.
And that's then she got to that.
Then
Okay, then he
he picked
and
her
he
as the VP.
okay, that's what it was. Okay, okay,
Hello.
okay.
No,
Salute,
what's good?
salute, salute, Elder Lane. So
Hello.
How you
I didn't
doing?
read some of your last comments that you put. So but just go ahead and tap in on how you feel about what's going on.
Well, first of all, I think we all have accepted the fact that she lost, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about accepting the L and anything like that. We know she lost, right? It's really about analyzing the missteps in the
Mhm.
campaign. You know what I mean? What could they have done better? You know what I mean? But I
Mhm.
think before we talk about, what she failed at, the thing about it is this: there was a bipartisan agreement that was put out by the administration that was going to be signed and approved to address the border situation.
Mhm.
But what happened was Trump told the Republicans not to sign it, and
I heard about that.
when he told them not to sign it, like say for example, they had somewhat of a solution,
Mm-hmm.
and if they found a solution to one of the major things that he was going to run off of, which was the border
Hmm.
and the fentanyl and people coming across and da 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 da. If they would have solved that issue, then it would have been a major blow to his campaign because they wouldn't have had nothing to try to pin to her.
Mm-hmm.
You
So I
understand?
have a question, right? Because I heard about that as an argument recently, and I didn't do the research to see, okay, was it something whereas he told him to block it, he didn't say to block it, he said block this, so he didn't agree. What I did hear about it at the time was it was because in that plan or bill, whatever it was they were trying to pass, they had details about funding Ukraine in it also, or something about funding some other country that he didn't agree with. But I didn't do my additional research to say, oh, yeah, this is what I read, XYZ. That could have just been something that was thrown in there as an excuse.
No,
However,
no, that was
it didn't, even though, okay, so let's just say Trump got on the Republicans' backs and was like, nah, chill, I don't let it pass or whatever, whether it was hate or not, she was still in office. So even though things, I know there's a system that things have to be passed in, I still feel like
absolutely.
we're making excuses for her not stepping up and doing more in her job. Whether it
Well,
was
the,
certain
the
things were
thing,
blocked, I feel like she still had power to do certain things. And allowing the administrations as far as the asylum cities to just open up a floodgate and say no, it's okay, and if you don't let them in, we're going to penalize you, blah blah blah, because Adams got slapped on the hand several times because he was with it at first, and then he was like, whoa, enough is enough. He went down to DC and they slapped him on his hand and he had to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do nothing but to keep letting people in. So I feel like whether it was because they had deals with Venezuela or whatever, the civilians are affected. The civilians are looking to her who's in office, and if they're saying, okay, well, this is something that you're responsible for, we cannot make excuses for her
Mm-hmm.
because we like her better than we like him.
I
We
don't
cannot
think
make excuses for her.
I don't
She
think
failed
it
at
was,
the
I
door.
don't think I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's a fact. it's the fact that there was a bipartisan agreement to address the border situation, which means the Republicans and
Right.
Democrats work together to put this bill together to address the border situation.
Right.
And Trump spoke to, I believe it was Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and he told them, do not sign it. And that's what happened. They did sign it. They didn't sign it. Even if it had gone to the Senate and it was a tie,
Mm-hmm.
as vice president, one of the duties of a vice president is to break the tie in the Senate. If
Mm-hmm.
there's a bill and it's 49-49,
Mm-hmm.
she has the vote. And if you look and people say, "Oh, well, what did she do during her 4 years?" Look at the record in terms of the bills where she was the tiebreaker on a lot of the laws that got passed. There's not much that a vice president does. If you look at the history of vice presidents, I guarantee you can't name one thing in your lifetime that you remember that a vice president has done. We could take 10 seconds and you tell me one thing that you remember that a vice president has done since you've been alive.
Seriously, I couldn't because I really just started following politics in my later adult years. So I'm catching up. There's a lot of
Okay.
stuff I'm still learning too.
I
So
might
I can't tell you.
I might be a tad bit older, but all I'm saying is this. Vice president's real job is to stay in their lane. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Right.
They do, and you're not supposed to speak out of line or out of turn when it comes to different policies because that stuff is supposed to come from the president. You just supposed to fall in line. Now they do get certain things that they have to do, and
Mhm.
from what we know, that whole
Mm-hmm.
border situation was in her court.
I
Did it
know it
go right?
was something they
Did
said.
it
Sorry, go ahead.
right? Did it go perfectly? No. You know what I mean? But listen, the border has always been an issue. All my life, or your life,
Hmm.
or mine's life, it's always been a situation where people was running through from Mexico and all that, swimming through the.
Hmm.
People act like that started yesterday. It
No,
didn't
it
start
definitely
yesterday.
didn't. It
You know
definitely
what I'm saying?
didn't.
So it's like I don't listen. There's a couple of reasons why I feel like you know she lost the election, and I really think she went really really hard on the women's rights situation. While it is very 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 important, I don't think that it was one of the issues that could have taken her as far as she wanted to go. You know what I mean? I think
Hmm.
the best thing that she could have done was really speak about why the border situation was not addressed, and she should have spoken about how she could improve the economy. Now, not that the economy is crazy right now, because it's not like we're in a recession,
Mm-hmm.
but during Biden's administration, inflation was a little crazy.
It
You know what I'm
still
saying?
is.
Groceries was sky high and everything like that. You got to have a plan. And every time she kind of came out with a plan, where it was like, well, why didn't you do that while you was in office? Well, you know what? Her plan had to differ from Biden's plan. It had
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, and you can't prove that when you are running a campaign. It's like you just can't. But I mean, hey, listen, it is what it is. I hope we all learn from it. You know what I mean? I really was kind of disheartened
Mm-hmm.
by a lot of the conversation that was taking place during the time leading up to the election with, oh, is she black? Is she not? I mean, I think that was just like really ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, is she running against another black person or a Latino? No, she's running against a white dude. So why are we asking? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like if she black, or it was just ignorant. You know
But
what I
I think
mean?
it's
I'm like,
ignorant
Great
of
point,
them
Ron.
to bank on that because definitely something that was a major factor that they wanted to emphasize. So that's not something that came across from her opposition. Her opposition started questioning it because she put emphasis on it. I'm black, and because she wanted to relate to a certain demographic. So again, her campaign has to reflect on why they felt the need to emphasize on what she identified as when it came to what racial groups and why that was pushed as something that was behind her campaign. So that's something they got to take responsibility for because they pushed that to the forefront. So now you got people sitting there debating like, well, she ain't black. Yes, she is. She's an AKA. She went to Howard. She ain't black. Yes, she is. She said she
But
black. She ain't black.
but
Yes,
we
she
did
was.
not.
She dated
But
Willie Brown.
we did not start hearing nothing about that until she decided to run for president.
But you also got to ask because how long has she been identifying as a black woman? Now, if she was identifying as a black woman before her political career, then it is what it is. But if she didn't start publicly identifying as being black, you have to ask yourself, why? Is there a motive behind that? Especially when they kept emphasizing that she's the black woman because they understood how great of a race and a victory that would be to say, yes, we ushered in the first black woman president. Look at the pride that took over our community when Obama became president. And
But
this
you
is more so
still,
when I really should have been paying attention.
let's not forget though. Let's not forget. Even during Obama's administration, you had people that was like, "Oh, he's not black enough," or "What did he do
Hmm.
for blacks?" Da 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 da. You know what I mean? And then listen, her father is Jamaican. Like, how much more black can you get? You know what I'm
But see,
saying? Besides being
now this is where we
African,
come into
you know, it's like,
nationality and race are two different things because you could be American. Okay, you a what American? Are you a black American? Are you a white American? Are you a Hispanic American? Are
okay,
you an
well,
Indian American?
Obama's
Jamaica's
mother
no
was
different.
Ob-
Jamaica's a nation, so she's
Obama's
not automatically black because her
Obama's
father was born in
mother
Jamaica.
was white.
Mhm.
Obama's mother was white, and his father was from Kenya.
Right, right. But
Okay,
was he a
so
white
what
Kenyan?
difference?
Was he a black
What
Kenyan? I don't think there was a dispute as far as
he was a
where his
black
father, what
Kenyan,
race his father was.
right?
But that's the thing. So now you can okay. So let's say for example, who's another African? Elon Musk. He's African. He was born and
Hmm.
raised in South Africa.
Right.
So that makes that man African nationality. So just because her
Hmm.
father's Jamaican does not automatically make him a black man. You have
But he
Japanese,
okay. So
Jamaicans. You got
okay. So
Chinese Jamaicans.
I'm telling you, I saw a picture of her
I,
dad.
I did too. Donald
He's a
Harris,
black. He's
Candace
a black
Owens.
Jamaican.
Candace Owens did a whole expose. You should look it up. Candace Owens did a
He's
whole expose
a black. He's
down
a
to
black Jamaican.
his great grandparents who are Irish and Jewish. So again, no, her father is
Okay.
not a black man.
So her father is a black Jamaican.
No, he's not. And that's what I'm saying.
Yes, he is.
No, this is
Who
what I'm
her
Listen.
mother's
saying. You should
father?
look into a whole expose where
Her
Okay,
they're
so
mother's
showing
father?
her
if we
father's
want to go
lineage.
five,
He's not a black man
okay,
Okay,
either.
let,
He's
let me let me
Jamaican,
Google it
but
right
he's
now.
not a black Jamaican.
you're
Let me Google
going
it.
generations. You're going generations back. If you want to do that, then guess what? We all African. How about that?
I knew he was gonna
Yep,
go there.
yep,
I knew he was
yep,
gonna go there.
Okay,
yep. So then
we
if
are
that's the case, then we
we all
can't get mad
African.
at Trump for being a racist if he's African too, then right? Because we all
But
African then. So now we're gonna sit there and say Trump is African too.
my
So is he
my
really
whole thing
racist?
my whole thing was I never had an issue with people saying whether Trump was a racist or not. My whole issue is like,
Mhm,
where is your moral compass at? You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
that position, you know, like we deserve better. The Republican Party deserves better. You know what I'm saying? This
Then
country deserves
Trump.
better. You know, this man is a felon. You know, I don't
Mhm.
have any. You know, like listen, you know, you go to jail, you do your time, and you come out. God bless you. Do it. But you know what? He hasn't done his time yet.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He hasn't done his time yet. You know,
Mhm.
convicted of 34 felonies,
Mm.
you know, settled out of court for sexual harassment. So I mean, like,
It's a lot.
we can't do no better than that.
So I have a question though, right? Because the 34 felonies, so what happened to his time? He didn't get no time for it.
He
What kind
hasn't
of
been
felonies
sentenced yet.
were these?
He hasn't been sentenced yet.
Mm.
But so what was he charged with that he got that these are felonies? He would like what were the
He
felonies?
he lied when he slept with the porn star, right? And he took campaign funds and had his lawyer and accountants paying her off, and then he lied about it to
Okay,
keep her
so
quiet.
they consider that a felony. Okay.
Yes, because basically, if you're taking money that's supposed to be for your campaign, and
Mm.
you're using it as hush money to silence porn stars, you know what I'm saying? Like you lied on documents that was,
So
and
Donald Trump didn't have enough of his own money that he needed the campaign money to pay off somebody. That's what we saying. Donald
that's a fact.
Trump.
Look it up. 34 felonies in the state of New York. Look it up.
So not all 34 felonies has to do with that case. That's Stormy
State,
Daniels, right?
yeah,
Stormy
Stormy
Daniels
Daniels.
is the point. Okay, I remember some of that.
All of that was
So
in New York, in the state of New
okay,
York.
so what did he get? What did he get? What's the word I'm looking for? It was I don't know,
Impeach.
but something was overturned to where now they have to pay him back like 40 million or 4 million or something like that. New York State has to. Because Letitia James was saying that it was an injustice to um um something or whatever. But so that's what I'm confused about because they keep saying he was convicted of all these things,
Hmm.
but I didn't see him doing time. And now they're
No,
talking about they owe him money.
because
It's just not being
they
reported
went to
everywhere.
they went to court to try. They went to court and they got the sentencing date pushed after the election.
So
Now, see, the thing about it is,
he's gonna have to do time as a president.
he, I believe so. I mean, if listen, they still
That's
got him.
crazy.
He still got to go to court in Georgia.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
okay. So wasn't he impeached though? Didn't they have a whole thing to impeach him before? I don't. This is why I'm confused with how this works.
He
Because
was
I was under the
impeached
impression being
twice.
impeached means you got to come out of office. So how was he impeached but yet able to run again? But he might have to do time once he wins. This is why I get confused when it comes to.
And I'm
So they're focused on
and I'm
more
and I'm gonna
moralities when
tell
it
you
comes to
why.
paying a porn star,
And I'm
but
gonna
he
tell
can
you
still win
why.
presidency and serve
I'm gonna tell you
jail time.
why. I'm gonna tell you why this presidency, this election was so important because of
Hmm.
exactly what it is you're talking about right now.
Mm,
His 4 years in office, he
Hmm.
was able to appoint Supreme Court justices, and he was able to appoint federal judges as well, who sided with him. You understand what I'm saying? Who sided with him.
right.
So it's like decisions on when he gets when he gets sentenced
How
and
much
when
time he gets?
this court date takes place and you know pushing this court date back. All of that played a role.
Okay,
All of that played a
so
role.
I have
Now
a
here he
question to
is.
that.
Now let me
Hmm.
finish.
Hmm. Hmm.
One again, and you got two more Supreme Court justices that's going to retire in the next within the next four
Hmm.
years.
From the
You
ones
know what I
he
mean?
picked.
That's why people and he will pick
He's
them,
gonna be picking them. He's gonna be picking those two.
Oh, he's
right?
picking two more, not the three he picked already. You saying two more?
Two, yeah,
Oh,
Clarence
okay.
Thomas,
All right. I'm just trying to follow because I told
right,
you I'm still learning. Okay.
right. So it's like that is a big picture, you know what I mean? And it's
Hmm.
like him being able to pick those judges, could change it will change this country as we know it right now. Trust me.
Mm.
You know what I mean, like all those huge cases that go to the Supreme Court and they make a decision. Look at Roe versus Wade. They changed that.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? He's talking about scrapping the Department of Education. There's a lot of stuff that he's talking about doing, and because he has these judges that he appointed, whether they be federal court judges or Supreme Court judges, which a lot of them get handpicked by the president. This country's gonna change without a doubt.
Okay, so I have a question. When you said he appointed the judges that overturned Roe versus Wade, and the judges he may appoint next could be the ones that reverse the whole dismantling of Department of Education, right?
I don't even think that
So,
needs to go to the Supreme Court, to be honest with you.
right, because I thought that Department of Education was a state level thing. I thought
No, it's
federal didn't touch that.
it's like I want to say I want to say it might be federal, but I mean, listen,
That's what I've read recently,
right.
that the Department of Education has nothing to do with federal.
Mhm.
That's a state appointed thing. And what he said was not that he wanted to dismantle the Department of Education,
Hmm.
but he would fight any state that would be requesting funding if they were teaching incorrect history, is what the
I
quote
believe he
I
said
read specifically.
right.
Is that he said,
And
so anything that was any state that wanted funding that was teaching incorrect history as a curriculum in the school, they would not get funding. Not that he was going to dismantle the Department of Education. That's the clarification I read on that. But I have a
well, okay,
question
so
though. When it comes to the,
look
sorry, go
at
ahead.
what they were doing though. Look, like say for example Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're removing books from the libraries that talk about slavery, and which is part of United States history. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so
It's like you
let me ask
can't.
you a question though. Do you really think, I don't know if you're familiar with the curriculum that's being taught in school to our kids, but we know as adults, I can say that I've come across information that I've learned as an adult to be incorrect versus what I was taught in school. One of my major problems as a parent is, why are our children being taught that Black history starts as slavery? That's an issue for me as a Black parent. I don't believe it should be taught. That's where the history should be taught, and we only get February to focus on the other things that Black inventors and innovators have done. That's me as a parent saying my problem with the education system. We're also not being taught truths when it comes to
I
history. We all know Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. Why is that still being taught to our children? We all know that Rosa Parks really wasn't the one on the bus. Why is that being taught to our children?
I think that
Those are things that are incorrect.
that's the job of a parent
I completely
to,
agree with that.
to teach
But
their
again, I
children.
don't believe schools should be funded if they're saying that's a curriculum that should be taught to our school. I'll give you another example. My son's in middle school. He came to me last school year, 5th grade, when he first started middle school, and said, Mommy, because I talk to my child all the
Mhm.
time, I want him to be aware, more aware of things than I was at his age. So I'm not exposing him to things that are grown, but yes, I want you to learn. We're going to learn together. That includes economics as well. So one of the things my son highlighted to me, he showed me a book that was a story about it. It was a real story. The boy wrote his autobiography about him being a Filipino immigrant
Mhm.
and what he went through, coming to this country and feeling scared that somebody was going to out him that he was an immigrant. And he's saying that the excerpt says he's in class and he just blurted out, I'm gay.
Mm.
Now, I needed to know why in my 5th grade child, my 10-year-old child's ELA class, where they assigned a book to read that was talking about some young immigrant boy who came to America and realized he was gay and had this revelation while he was in school. Now, if this was a high school book, I wouldn't give it too much thought. But for 5th graders, so now I asked my friend and another friend of mine that are both in education, have been there for 15 plus years. How does this
Mhm.
work? Is this something that the teacher picked or what? Because I want to know who I direct my frustrations to. Why is my son
I
giving
done
a
went
book to
straight.
this young man?
I done went straight to the school. I
And
would have
that's
went straight.
exactly what I did. What
Okay.
she explained to me was that the school gives them a list of books that they want the teachers to pick throughout the year. So it's not just one or two, it's like a list of 1 to 200 books. And the
Mhm.
teachers to pick what books they want. So the teachers absolutely thought, okay, well, maybe this is a good book for them to read, but I disagree. So now knowing this, I'm not relying on this system to teach my son certain things that I don't feel like he needs to be exposed to. And collectively as a community, whether we're conservative or liberal, we absolutely need to take responsibility for the things that our children are
Sure.
exposed to in schools.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, going to those those Board of Ed meetings, you know what I mean, going to
Mhm.
city council meetings,
Yep.
that's where you speak up about all of these different things. I mean, while the
Right.
presidential election is important, it's also very important to know who your city council people are. You know what I mean? To
Yes.
know,
Local
who
elections and
picks
local politicians. Right. Right.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So in some cities, the mayor picks the people, who are in the board of ed.
Mhm.
In some towns, they have to run, for that position,
Right.
and
Right.
you get a chance to see, like, who these people are and what they stand for. But
Right.
nah, as a parent, nah, you got every right to question that. And you
Right.
should be teaching your children that, they're real full history, without a doubt.
Right, right,
Without
right,
a doubt. Like here in East Orange, like we don't play that Columbus stuff. You know what I mean?
right,
But
right,
it's a majority black administration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And from the mayor on down. And we really dive deep into that. In terms of
right.
teaching the kids their true history. So yeah, no, I dig it though. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep staying
I
active.
appreciate that because I'm
For
learning
sure.
as this is my firstborn, and
Hmm.
again, this is why I just hope that this is a learning experience for Black people collectively. Again, whether regardless of what side you on, I think most of us have the same vested interest, which is the upliftment of our community, empowerment of our community. We
Right.
want to keep it safe. We want to make sure
Hmm.
that we're able to make money and not just survive and keep our head above water, but be able to build and strengthen our legacy so that we are passing this down. That's the things we need to focus on. So when it came to certain policies, I'm absolutely paying attention to who's saying that they want men to use women's bath or men to use the same bathroom as little girls, or who wants it to be okay to have these certain books introduced to children. Again, it's a difference between children, a group who could be possibly sexually active and now they're hitting their sexual era versus prepubescent children.
Right.
We need to pay attention to that. And I feel like a lot of Black people, especially people involved in the church, are very conservative, but our loyalty is automatically going to the liberal party. Our
Hmm.
loyalty is sometimes, I feel like, blind. It's kind of making us turn the eye like, I don't really agree with that, but it's all I know. And I got to show my loyalty. These are my people. So it's easier to put in somebody who may look like skin folk, but ain't really kinfolk, especially if they want to just play the part. We got to look at your history, how you moving. How was you moving before you was trying to get our attention? So I
Hmm.
don't feel like we were holding her to an unfair standard. I feel like you were supposed to bring this home and you didn't. Whether you a Black Indian, whether you married to a white Jewish man or not, whatever people may have had little problems about who she choose to sleep with, whatever problems people may have because she may not be dark enough or she may not look Black enough, whatever. She was supposed to bring it home so she can take from this. Hopefully, I don't know how it works. Hopefully, in the next 4 years, she can run. But let her take her own mistakes and let's do better as a
Yeah.
community. That's what's important right now. Our community, why are we the last at the race?
Well, you know what?
But we're prioritized during these election races, but we still all the way in the back. We got to do the math on that. That's not adding up. I'm not
Yeah.
looking for no savior. I'm not looking to this white man to come and save it and make America great again. I am not. But I'm paying attention to who may have certain policies that are going to benefit us today because we're in the race and we're drowning and ain't nobody coming to save us, not even the ones that look like us. As much as I love Obama, me and that man share a birthday. I had to reflect. Let's really see what did Obama do for us that we could say we take pride in? And I feel like small things that he did do, we try to exaggerate that to make it seem like we don't want to embarrass him. It's like, when you see your family member could have did more, it's like, okay, I'll have this talk with him, but I'm not going to put him on blast in front of y'all. We
Right.
absolutely could do that. But enough of us are not holding him accountable for what he could have done more. The same thing when it comes to this administration. We talk about how Trump was the ones that appointed the Supreme Court judges that overturned Roe versus Wade. Now I'm still learning how it works, but Biden and Kamala, they've been watching Trump like a hawk. Everything they talk about is what he doing, how we making it better. Why did they not appoint anybody else that could overturn that in the meantime, if that was their priority? That's a question that I have. I'm not criticizing them. I really want to know if that was such a big thing that Trump appointed the 3 Supreme Court justices that
Hmm.
overturned Roe versus Wade because he knew he was going to do that. Then why didn't they not play chess and said, okay, well, boom, we throwing 3 of our own. So now they're going to reverse it back. They want to rely on the Black vote to be like, no, we want you to do it. They could have did it.
I but see the thing about it is, like it has to go through a certain amount of like circuit courts to actually reach the Supreme Court.
The branch,
So,
You know what I mean? Like
so does
cases.
that take longer than 4 years? Because how was he able to do it, but they
Yeah,
couldn't?
because like I said, when you are in office and you are able to appoint that many federal judges as he was able to do,
Mhm.
then your case, it has to go through the circuit courts before it even gets to the Supreme Court, and it never made it. It
Yeah,
never. It never.
those the branches, right?
Yeah.
Branches.
It's like,
So then
you
why
know,
didn't they do the same? That's what I want to
because
know then. If it takes a
they
certain amount of
because
years, they knew by the time his
these
hit,
slots
theirs
these
would have been following
these
right
slots have
behind.
to
Am
become
I wrong? I don't know.
these these slots have to become vacant, and they have to be replaced. They,
Okay,
if the
okay.
right,
That's what I was unclear about. Okay, I
right.
didn't know how that worked. I didn't know if it was like an electoral thing,
No,
every so often you get elected. No, it's like they stay in the seat until they die, and then somebody else is
right,
appointed. So there's no open seats
right.
in the Supreme Court justices because Trump filled in the last three.
Um, I don't. Did Biden get a chance to even pick anybody? I believe he picked the sister. That was the only one. That was the only seat that became open.
The Spanish lady,
Nah,
right?
the sister.
No, Sotomayor was
Yeah.
Trump. That's the lady from the Bronx. Sotomayor was Trump. Sotomayor
No,
or something like that.
she was Obama. She was Obama,
Oh,
and the
was
sister,
she? Okay, okay.
right? And Trump picked. I believe he picked two, right? He picked the woman and the dude,
He
right?
picked two.
Right.
Sonia Sotomayor and
So he
Elena.
did pick her, Sona Sotomayor. She's the one from the Bronx that
Yeah.
everybody was making a big deal about because she was, I think, one of the, I don't know if she's the first, but they were celebrating that she was a Spanish woman from the
Yeah, so I was
Bronx that made
saying.
No,
it,
there was
that got a seat.
Obama picked
Yeah.
her, right?
Sonia, and he picked Elena Kagan.
Oh, so that was
Right.
Obama. That wasn't Trump.
No, Obama.
Oh,
Right.
okay, okay, okay,
And
okay, okay,
Obama
okay, okay. I thought it was
and
Trump.
Trump,
Okay.
right? And Trump picked two as well, I believe, right?
Let me see.
He picked the a woman and a man, right?
Um,
Sounds like Trump got a hot hand. He was able to pick them. He was
Right.
able to pick three, and now they
It's
stuck.
all it's all it's all the timing. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And now
Right.
you'll probably have two that will roll off. Now, what Biden did have the opportunity to do, which he didn't do, is there was talks that they wanted to increase the amount of people that are on the Supreme Court. He wanted
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how many people make up the Supreme Court judges like the that panel? I don't know if that's the correct
I
term. How
believe
many
it's
people make that up?
I think it's 9 Supreme Court judges.
Mm, okay.
Right. So what he should have done is did everything he could do to try to increase it to maybe 11 or something like that. So he would have had the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to try to, have his own judges that he could pick. You know what I mean? But now
Mhm.
it's like, it's like the
I'm not
the
going to hold you. It don't seem like Biden really put effort into anything outside of Ukraine. It don't seem like he mentioned the student loans. That was his ticket to get in.
Mhm.
Then he got in, and it was like, okay, they kind of curved it, and then he was like, no, let it pass. And then I remember they curved it again.
Well,
But other than that,
there are student loan forgiveness programs out there.
right,
Did he did he
right,
eliminate it? He didn't eliminate it.
Mm-hmm.
I
right,
think that was kind
right.
of like like a pipe dream that homie from New Hampshire or wherever he's from, what's the old guy? Um what's his name? Bernie, you know.
Oh,
Right,
the
right.
yes, okay,
Bernie Sanders threw the whole eliminate the
Sanders.
student debt. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
come on, you can't. That's crazy. You can, what Biden did was he put programs out there to help reduce, the student debt forgiveness, some of it,
I
but
know he did do the first time homeowners program.
right.
Not to cut you off, but that's just
Hmm.
something that popped up. I will say because I was kind of looking into that. It was like I think 25,000 given as a grant
Hmm.
to first time homeowners as part of a part of assistance in paying for a home. So I don't know what the stipulations were,
Hmm.
but I think it could be in addition to maybe other grants or programs like NACA or something like that. So
You
I will
mean?
say I did hear he did that,
Oh, okay.
but I'll say more than that, I can't say that Biden has really put much effort into anything American outside of what's going on in the Middle East, making sure he's tipping his hat off to the Zionists when they want, and paying and keeping Ukraine greased the way they need to be. I don't
Hmm.
really recall Biden doing anything. And then
Well,
I want to know what
yeah,
are the points of the when
we
they
would
say
certainly have to look that up. We would certainly have to look that up. You know what did has his administration do? Because I think that there was a huge bill that they got passed that was bipartisan, where they made the investment in the infrastructure, right?
mm,
So that created, that gave a lot of cities a lot of money to try to, shore up their infrastructure, a lot of jobs as well. You know,
mm.
that was a big win for them. And there
Can
was
I
a
ask a
couple of
question? Do you think that was to maybe make sure that the migrants that was coming in would have jobs to work? If that was their whole plan to bring them in so that they could persuade the vote?
nah. The thing about it is this: it's like when people are running for office, especially presidency, you always hear the things that they say, like, and infrastructure is always one of them words that
Mm-hmm.
they throw around. Oh, rebuild the infrastructure, rebuild the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time that I saw a president actually put his money where his mouth was. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you go around, in different major cities, you see the construction being done. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's like, you really can't just hire anybody, to do those types of jobs. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like private industry, you'll see like them hiring the migrants and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
Biden had a couple of wins. He had a couple of wins. He could have
Mm-hmm.
done
Okay.
more. He could have done more, but it is what it is. We gotta
Okay.
stay grounded. Where we live, and make sure
Mm-hmm.
we don't get the okey doke done on us in our local
Mm-hmm.
elections and in our
Absolutely.
communities. You know what I mean? Like, we can't afford to
Yep.
have that happen.
Yep.
You know.
I
Yeah,
agree.
But
yeah. I
look,
think I
look,
think
y'all,
that goes.
it's past my curfew, my
All
bedtime.
right, homie. I'm right behind you, bro.
Yes,
I see you later, Ron.
sir.
I
Good
see you
talking
later.
to y'all.
I'll talk
Yes,
to you later.
likewise. Thank you
All
for
right,
putting
y'all.
me on because you taught me some stuff today
Hey,
too.
listen, we all learn from each other.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Peace.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my brother, he really went into a good segue about us, being involved with like the
Yep.
uh, local councilmen, and when they have those, those local polls and campaigns going on, like to be involved
Yeah.
with them. Um, and that goes into a question that Lonnie, that Low Hampton said. He said, "Where do we go now? What's the agenda for us? Where do we begin? What's the game plan?" And I think that is the game plan. You know what I mean? That is the
Mm-hmm.
game plan. Go out and vote for your local
Mm-hmm.
councilman. All of those elections that we think don't matter.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Those are the ones that
saying?
absolutely matter.
Those
Yes.
those are the
Yes.
ones that matter. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to the president, all of that, we throwing rocks at the throne. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When
Mm-hmm.
we could be throwing rocks at the people down the block from us. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can make changes. When it comes to our local schools. You
And
know what I mean?
absolutely hold them accountable. Don't just let them fly under
Accountable.
the radar. And no, we need to hold
Yeah.
them accountable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, we can't run up to the White House, you know what I mean? But we can run to these local offices and shout them out. We can go to
Yeah.
City Hall. We can do what we got to do. So I think that's the
Absolutely.
that's the big picture right there. Where we
Yep.
begin to because a lot of people are not happy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it is what it is. But this is gonna be a for the next week or so, this is going to be a conversations that we will be having in reference to the election,
Mm-hmm.
and other things going on, within our community and
Mm-hmm.
social media and just the black culture.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
see a lot of celebrities popping out from under the rug, you know, as if they supported Trump this whole time. Like it's like really, bro. Like y'all niggas sat back and y'all was just collecting y'all checks, and now that he won, now y'all outside with y'all Trump stuff or whatever the case is.
They wasn't trying to
Um,
be canceled. They couldn't take the heat. They
yeah.
said, let them just play it
So
cool.
yeah.
And they
So
could see the
so
winner.
so Low Hamptons, what the agenda is to, if we want to change anything politically, if we're not happy with what is, what the president is doing, to go to your local councilman, go to, you have, you can Google who the local councilman is,
And
whether
assemblymen,
it's
yup. Assemblymen
assemblyman,
and women,
you know what I
councilmen
mean?
and women, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could, whether it's fighting for something in the kids'
Yep.
school, whether it's fighting for something, uh, the garbage is not being picked up, on your block. It's too many rats. You know what I'm saying?
The
Like
noise,
these
the litter, yep.
noise, the
Absolutely.
litter, too many the gangs running up and down the street, whatever.
Yeah.
The police aren't policing where the
Yep.
cops at. You know what I'm saying? Why does it take so long for the police to come to the neighborhood if God forbid something happened? Like all these, all the way down to why does the train don't run on time, or the bus don't run on time? Like it's these all different things that we can complain about and use our voice for.
Yep.
I think that's the agenda. And two, also double up, double up. Like look for ways to maximize the money that you make from your 9 to 5 or wherever
Yep.
you get your money from. Like do your research.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I encourage people start your own business. There's
Yep.
nothing wrong with having a job or getting checks or whatever you're getting checks from,
Yep.
but do your research and have that money work for you.
Yep. I
Have
agree.
have that money work for you. You understand what I'm saying? While you're at work, like I read some of the book one time, like always try to take an hour out of your day while you're at work to focus on your business.
Yep.
Focus on
That's what I
your
took.
business. You got the whole,
Mm-hmm.
just put seed into it, seed into it. You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying? Whether it's doing research on something that you have a passion for, or whether
Yep.
it's making a phone call or whatever, like do your research because that's what Trump is providing. Trump is providing, you know what I'm saying, tax breaks for the people who are making X amount of money. Trump is making, he's making, um, he's what's the word I'm looking for? He is attracting good energy towards people who have their own businesses. You understand what I'm saying?
He also proposed to introduce a tax bill, not a tax bill, what is it? A write-off for
Mhm.
parents who homeschool. Parents of homeschool children, because there's been a rise of that since the pandemic, because I was on that wave too. I seen Lo mention it earlier. What about homeschooling? But it is a bit tough and it is a challenge.
Mhm.
It is something that I tried for 2 years. And the
Yeah.
only reason why I let my children go back to school was more so because my son, again, being that middle school
Mhm.
age, I did he wanted to as well, but I wanted him to kind of develop more social skills
Yeah.
and just being around other children. They've been home for 3 years.
Mhm.
So I wanted him to kind of like, okay, this is the time he's getting into that period. Not
Mhm.
that that was a priority, but okay, it played a
Mhm.
factor. And we like the school network. And with my daughter, she has a speech delay. And I don't have the tools or resources myself
Mhm.
to be able to,
Mhm.
I do what I can myself from home, but she needs professional assistance when it comes to, you know, um, teaching her certain things that I may not know. So but
Mhm.
I think that's a great thing to offer that to
Mhm.
parents who homeschool, because that's a job in itself. To
Mhm.
homeschool your children
Yeah.
when you haven't been in school for 30 plus years, and now you have to go off certain things and you're trying to remember it as you're teaching them. That's not
Mhm.
easy. And to have the patience when you're not a professionally trained teacher or educator, to
Mhm.
have the patience and know, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
absolutely think
Facts.
that is something that parents who homeschool, that's something they deserve. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that if he does push through with it,
Hmm.
let's give him props for that, because that's not just a thing where that's the upper
Mhm.
class. That is very
Mhm.
much lower and middle class where people
Middle
do
class.
homeschool their children.
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
I mean? So I think
Hmm.
we should applaud that as well, if that is something he's going to do. And to answer your question, Lo, what's the agenda? we're the agenda. We've
Yeah.
been the agenda. So now we got to get on board. Once you know you're it, who's touching you? We absolutely need to clean house. We need to focus on our economics, our finances, our culture. We need to
Mm-hmm.
focus on moral and what we're saying that we are accepting, that it is righteous and of good conscience and of good faith.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to what we allow, that comes to our music, our pop culture, our entertainment, we absolutely need to clean house, because nobody is coming to save us. And if everybody has a problem with this white person in office, then I absolutely encourage everybody, because not because he's a white man in office, but because for some odd reason they feel like he's ushering slavery back in and all women are going to lose their rights, and whatever propaganda you fell for. All right, so now I ask, what are you going to do about that? You're going to sit there and play victim and cry, or you going to take advantage and get money and get yourself right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want for our black men. Don't cry and feel like it's a victim. Why are they screaming? I'm coming. Don't cry and feel like you're a victim because you feel like this man you've been told is the big bad wolf is now in office.
Mm-hmm.
Any black men I know, we're no victims. You guys are no victims. Black
Mm-hmm.
people are resilient. So if you absolutely disagree with him being in office, okay, so now take your lemons and make lemonade.
Make lemonade.
What do we got to do? We got to start holding each other accountable. We got to start being responsible for our own bullshit and stop looking for handouts and a pat on the head and feeling like, oh, we're going to be tiptoed around, because we're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like the agenda is. Everybody get your house right.
Yeah.
It's that time. If you
That's
feel
right.
like you was afraid of slavery coming back, what you gonna do about it? Because now I feel like, seems like Kanye was on to something when he said slavery was a choice, huh? Because tell me which one of you niggas is going with them when they say, all right, nigga, leave all this shit here, you coming with us. How many
Mm-hmm.
people raising their hands and going with them voluntarily? So
Mm-hmm.
it seems like Kanye was on to something when he said slavery is a choice, huh? If niggas is scared that he's ushering slavery and black people gonna lose their rights, what you gonna do about it?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna sit here and feel powerless, or you gonna do all that you can and make sure that you and yours is good? Because that's the blacks I know. That's the black people that I come from. We're resilient.
Mm-hmm.
That's the agenda, in my humble opinion.
That's real talk. All right, cool, cool, cool. Like I said, man, we are gonna be. This is gonna be the conversation for the next for a minute. For a minute. All right. So, Joy, you have a good
You
night.
too,
And,
Lamont.
and thanks for popping on. I didn't expect you. You know what I'm saying? But I think you saw things was getting kind of.
I had to come and chime in. I wanted to ask my own questions too, but
Yeah,
yeah, I see the kids.
yeah.
They was dozing off, and now they see I haven't been in the room, so I see the twins pop back up. So now I got to go put them back
All
down.
right, do your thing, sis.
All right. Have a good night, Monty.
All
Everyone,
right,
good
talk to you
night.
later. No
All
doubt.
right, later.
All right.